A person who really inspires me in the STEM space is Dr. Mae Jemison. She's a native of Chicago, like I'm a native of Chicago. She felt as though in her schooling it was important to learn about African and African American history in addition to her studies towards being an astronaut. And when I had the wonderful opportunity to meet her several years ago at Vanderbilt University, she told me to ensure for my own personal well-being, that I find places and spaces that heal and comfort me, not simply the places and spaces that tolerate me. For this year's summit, we are in a state of political crisis, educational unrest. Our scholars and our fellows are feeling a bit deflated, and we want to show them through critical, computational, and mixed method skill sets that they have power, right? So they have power and agency among the research that they do, the research that they're going to impart, and they can actually fight the political wave, the rush of conservatism that they're currently facing now with those critical methodological skills and an understanding of inequities and marginalization and oppression.
There'll always be one more thing. Heads are not the right shape. There's no language, there's no history, there's no art. And quantification is just another thing in those lists. That things are not shown through the sufficient methodological precision. And so it's to waste people's time in chasing that when it's just going to move the goalposts. And we see right now that we're in a time where the pretenses of following evidence are being dropped, or the types of things that count as evidence are shifting to be in alignment with what people want to impose on the world. And so I encourage people to not think that there's ever a way to win with methodological precision by being precise enough or advanced enough.
And so not only do we have to police ourselves on what we're doing, but then we have to ask ourselves what we're not doing. And how does that perpetuate a particular kind of status or a lived experience for a group of individuals? The structure's bounded, the systems are connected to the structures, and those structures or systems become racist when they do something that creates a racialized disparity for somebody.
Even though I go to a predominantly white institution that's known for being not necessarily the most welcoming space for Black students, I mean, I chose not to go there for undergrad because I heard some terrible stories about the Black student experience at my graduate institution. And I know somebody who went for a PhD program and didn't have a community, didn't have that many Black students in there, and she didn't finish. And she told me the only other Black woman in that program also dropped out, right? And so it's having that community really is what drives you, because if I didn't have my community of people who get it, right? Like when we say we gotta do something to make sure these Black children are successful, they just get it. We work on it. I have so many collaborations because it's like we have the same goal. And even though we might not have the same research agenda, I support you. I will help you. We will work this out, have our writing groups together, collaborate together. And when I get that message from the people who I mentor saying, I can't tell you how much I appreciate what you've done for me. I don't know if I would have made it in the program if when I had a problem, I called you and you weren't like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Here's our plan. We're gonna make this work.
I paint this picture to say that when you have a question that you're trying to answer, there are oftentimes multiple ways that you need to try to answer that question. And when I was an early career scholar, finishing up my PhD at Indiana, going to Berkeley to do my postdoc with RWJF, I wanted to get as much methods training like this as possible because I wanted to be able to answer any question that I wanted to answer. Because if not, then I'm limited by the data that somebody else has collected. Or I'm limited by my own skill set to actually examine those data. So I did everything from go to ICPSR to go to research talks, qualitative institute, to engage in programs like this. Anything I could get my hands on, I wanted to know how to do it for myself.
So what's great about a space like ICQCM is because it's a convening not only of brilliant minds, but brilliant minds of people who are scientists who have also traversed similar grounds. I was talking to someone about a particular method who, more or less has come up with an approach for dealing with things that I'm trying to now deal with, right? So I think, we, as a Black faculty member, we don't get mentored the same as all of our colleagues. We don't get offered opportunities to collaborate the same as our colleagues. So a lot of the information we either get from people who are a part of our trusted networks or those who put us on game, right? And so I think what's great about a space like this is, it pulls together people who are supportive, who, want to mentor, who want to pour into those who are coming up behind them, which also then, leads me to also want to reciprocate because I know what it's like to be in those situations.
Challenges that I've experienced are, one, just a lack of representation. I think that's one of the biggest ones, and that's one that's very present. The second that I have experienced is lack of opportunities. So this space does provide opportunities to not only be seen, but to collaborate with individuals who are very open in sharing their experiences and supporting you on your own journey.
Academia mirrors what we face in real life every day. It's just more concentrated and intense because it's already a really hierarchical. And when the foundation of something is hierarchy, then the racism just becomes part of it. And if you are a Black and brown presenting person, and I think one of the other intersectional identities would be, if you're a woman and brown, then that comes with a lot of loaded assumptions and also pressure. Because I see a lot of my students who look up to me, and I know that I am a role model and mentor. And there's so few of us that I acknowledge my own privilege as well, and that number one, you have to deal with pressure, and number two, it's a great responsibility to be in this position because you are, I feel like I'm responsible to mentor, the next generation.
I'm hoping that there is a long-lasting regiment of change, right? Where folks will come through ICQCM, pick up the few golden nuggets that they can and run with it to get the grants, to find the ways to create more communal structures, right? Whatever ways to impact lives for the better, that's what I hope.
So how one of the ways in which we are looking at Afrofuturism, it's also looking back to the past to understand the future. So on our website, 400 Years, we have a project where we go all the way back to the 1600s and look at the contributions, the undertold and untold contributions of Black folks during that time. We were not just enslaved. We were inventors, we were welders, we were STEMers, we were scientists. We had vaccinations, immunizations. We laid the foundation for the medical fields. So there is so much that we've done that has been undertold, and 400 Years is a way to excavate and honor and celebrate those contributions.
Someone in the past or present in the world of STEM that influences me.
Cosmo Shalizi,
Reggie Fils-Aimé,
Rebecca Cruz,
Norman Perry,
Dr. Arthur Bond,
Chandra Ford, she's at UCLA.
Professor Lin Chow, who's an evolutionary biologist at UC San Diego.
I want to be able to have ICQCM be this exclusive but inclusive organization where folks are just like, oh, you did ICQCM? Wow, that means you must be really like, exactly, and that's what I want.